Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Elevate. My name is Jessica.
My name is Darwin.
We're going to be talking about what are some of the things that maybe put marriages or relationships on the route for divorce. What makes people go from I'm so in love with you to sign these papers because I want nothing to do with you ever again?
I got one.
What?
Let's say you met the woman and she was like taking care of herself and all that. And then it's like you get married and like a year later, she's just like in pajamas all day, 24/7. Doesn't care about herself. And it's like, that's not the person you kind of married. And they just feel like, oh, that's it. I got married. I can, not saying that you can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on, you should take care of yourself too. Like,
yes. That's something that that I've heard men in the past, let's say, complain about or like say like, when I met my wife, like she used to dress up or, just try to like impress me in some way or not even just to be completely honest, this is why I've said in the past, you should be who you are from the very beginning because of that reason. Because there's certain men who like their women to be dolled up. There's certain men who like a woman who's very feminine, who, always like takes care of her nails, who is always at least, taking care of her hair, looking well put together. There's men who are really attracted to that.
I am that man.
So, and I am that woman, so you married.
But I met you that way. So if you
but
held
I
up
was,
your agreement.
I've held up, right?
Yeah.
I was that way when I met you, and I wasn't trying to impress you. That's just who I was. That's just who I've always been. Even when I wasn't in a relationship, I'm very like a girly girl. I like to have my hair done. When I don't is really because I didn't have time. Like, but trust me, I'm not happy when I'm not dolled up. Not because I don't love myself, but because I like to feel feminine. I like to feel well put together. Like, that's just the way I grew up. I also think it has something to do with my mom and the way I was brought up. My mom is very like classic. She's like a classic woman. She's not really into fashion, but she's very classy in that, if she's going out, she might not go out every day. And maybe if she's going down to run some errands, she's not all dolled up, but she makes sure her hair is done. She has a little bit of something in her face. Like, my mom is that type of woman as well. So I kind of grew up with that. And that's not to say that if you're not that way, you're not pretty enough or you're not good enough. That's not what I'm saying at all.
And it's also not saying like that you're like that 24/7. Like,
no, because I'm not. Like, when I'm home, there's some times where I look really beat and, and I'm just cleaning the house or I'm just running around with the kids. And there's days also where I might feel like, I don't know, maybe it's that time of the month and, I just want to be really comfortable and I'm not really feeling it. But most of the time, I want to be well put together. That's just kind of my personality. So that's why I always say you have to be true to yourself from the beginning in a relationship because you want to make sure that the person you're getting with likes all of you.
Yeah. And some men don't care.
Exactly.
So
exactly. So you want to find someone, if you're someone who doesn't care to be dolled up all the time, you want to find a man who doesn't care for that because you want him to love all of you the way you are all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that could be one for men, I guess, for certain men. I say for me, something that can put a marriage on the route for divorce is not validating the other person's feelings. For example, let's say the man works outside the house and the woman stays home and is a stay-at-home mom. Let's say she's exhausted because being a stay-at-home mom is exhausting and it's work.
For sure.
And the man comes home and, he automatically starts complaining because, I don't know, dinner is still not ready. And the woman starts saying, oh, my God, I had a really rough day. And, I just haven't been able to catch up. And that's why, I'm so behind. And the guy all of a sudden is like, well, you should see the kind of day I had because you were here all day.
Facts. Hey, I see that like in the comments a lot.
That can put a marriage on the route of divorce. Why? Because you're saying that your woman it's like a competition. My day was rougher than yours. Yeah. And your woman should never feel like because she isn't bringing in the money in that case, what she's doing isn't enough. And
especially if you got kids.
Right, because that's a hell of a job. Right. Like, to be dealing with children all day in the house, having no adult interaction, and just having to keep up with, like, keeping the house as neat as possible with rugrats just running around. When you clean the sala or the living room, all of a sudden 5 minutes later is a mess again. Like, it's not easy to keep a house looking well put together and, you know, like, thinking about what you're going to give them to eat and, you know, cooking a nice meal for dinner and just all these little details, keeping the house clean, the bathroom, the laundry. Like, it takes time and effort and energy, and we're human. Just because you go outside of the home and you work outside of the home doesn't mean that what you're doing is harder than what your wife is doing. Maybe your job is harder on a labor level.
On a physical level.
Right, if you're like a construction worker, something like that. But that doesn't mean that your wife isn't exhausted mentally. There's different types of exhaustion.
Yeah, because, I mean, at that point, it's like, I mean, you're a mom, but you're like a living cleaning lady in the house. It's like if you're chasing around with children.
You wear
like,
many hats.
Yeah.
You're the nurse, you're the mom, you're the cleaning lady, you're the cooking lady, you're the laundry lady. You're wearing many hats. So the job is just as valuable as if you're leaving the home. And again, it's different types of exhaustion. So I think that just being understanding, you know, just not making it a fight of who had the worst day. Oh, like, I have it worse than you because I need to leave the house and you get to stay home all day. Well, let's switch places and see if you're going to be able to do everything that I do at home. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of men who have that perspective, you know, or look down on women who just stay home all day and just look at it as, oh my gosh, she has it so easy. You wouldn't be able to stand a day in that woman's shoes. Yeah. Like, you know, some of y'all don't even like to pick up a plate and freaking wash it. So, and I'm not saying all of you, you know who you are if you are that type of man. So just
I'm excluded from that.
You are very excluded.
Just so you know.
But just, you know, be appreciative. And, you know, every household works differently. There's men who don't like to do chores in the house, and there's women who don't like to go out and work. And that's totally fine. You guys can have the roles you decide to have in your family. Every family works differently, and everything and different strategies work for different families. But just as long as you're respecting the way the other person is feeling and just feeling like the other person has your back. Yeah. You know, like, I shouldn't feel as a stay-at-home mom, for example, like if I haven't been able to do everything I had to do today because I'm not feeling well, because it's that time of the month, because the kids have been a little bit, I don't know, out of control on this day, that I shouldn't feel like I'm going to be in trouble when my husband walks in the door because I haven't caught up to everything. Yeah. There should be an understanding, an open communication where I feel like I could be comfortable telling you I had a rough day. Like, I'm sorry that dinner isn't ready right now, but I had a rough day. And you shouldn't come at me like if you're my dad. Yeah. You know, like, I feel like a lot of women start to feel, this is also why some women don't ever want to be in that position of being a stay-at-home mom or just being the caretaker in the home, because there will be men who make them feel less than if they're not providing value on a monetary level. Yeah,
they won't be like equal in the pyramid no longer, especially to the kids. They'll feel like, oh, it's just that, and then
and I feel for someone who is unhealthy on a mental level will feel like that's not equal, because it's totally equal. If I'm taking responsibility for everything in the home and you just have to get home and relax, actually, it might not even be equal, because that's a lot of work. Yeah. You get to leave the home clock in at 8 o'clock, let's say clock out at 4, and you're clocked out. Like, you get to have that mental peace when you go home if you have nothing else to worry about. And that's not equal. If the woman has to be...
If you don't come home and, like...
help with anything. Yeah. That's not equal. The woman has... Her mind doesn't shut off.
Yeah.
Because if she's the one that's constantly thinking about, when do I need to take the kids for their physical to the doctor? When do I need to take them to the dentist? When do I need to do the laundry for the entire family? What am I going to cook this entire week? What if the woman has to constantly think about all those things, and all you get to do is think about bringing in money? Is all you need to do is go to work and come back? We're not equal. So that's one of the points where I feel like those are one of the things that I feel can deteriorate a marriage and put it on the route for divorce.
What's another one?
Another thing that can put marriage on the route for divorce is not making time for your spouse.
I'm guilty of that a little bit. You gonna divorce me?
No, not yet.
Damn,
it hasn't gotten to that level where I'm like, oh my God, I feel totally neglected. I don't feel totally neglected because I know that we have a lot going on right now, and we have a new business and there's a lot on our plate. So I don't feel that you intentionally are just neglecting our marriage, because I feel that we still connect.
It's funny you mentioned business, because this video is actually sponsored by Toto Studio.
Toto Studio, a studio located in Yonkers, New York, for creators by creators.
So for those of you who have a project coming up, whether that be a video project, a photo project, a campaign for a clothing line, a product line, we are all inclusive. We do video, photo, and if you have your own photographer, videographer, and you just need studio space, we can book us via Gearspace or shoot us a DM on Instagram
at Book Toto Studio.
Back to the episode.
Okay, so back to this. So yeah, I don't feel like we're totally neglecting our relationship, because even though we're not doing like special things as like, I don't know, going out for dinner on our own without the kids, I still feel like we're connected in a lot of ways.
No, I feel like we are too. I just sometimes I'm like, damn, I wish we did more as just like a couple.
I do too, but I know it's like a very tricky time to do, like just.
Yeah, but it's also kind of bad from our part, because it's like, we don't plan to slow down.
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should, start planning a little more.
Like once a month at least. Shit,
yeah.
That'd be a good start.
Yeah. Okay, let's shake on that. But again, if we didn't have like open communication, let's say that you were doing this business on your own, this was like your project and I wasn't involved in it in any way, maybe I would feel that way, because we would have nothing to talk about.
We also like always sit here in the podcast once a week. So we're working. This is
like therapy,
but we're like, at least we're connecting. We talk often.
We talk, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, we have different things to talk about. Sometimes it's not really about anything that has to do with our relationship, but we're just connecting, even if it's talking about business, like, or talking about like the different things that are happening here, or, you're always like keeping me updated on, oh, this just happened or that just happened. So it sparks up conversations. So I feel like that is why, even though we're not going out, planning out dinner dates or things like that, or dates on our own with our kids, we're still connected so much that it doesn't feel like we're neglecting our relationship. Maybe we're not actually. Because even if...
And then when we do go sit in a restaurant, it's us time. The kids just happen to come with us.
Yeah, so even on other levels, I feel like we're still very connected.
Hey, yo.
Stop.
Bro.
Why are you blushing?
I'm not blushing. I'm hot.
So yeah, I don't feel like we're we could definitely do more to like have, alone time a little longer,
Well, now both of the kids are in school, so we can even start planning stuff.
I know.
Not the nasty stuff, like.
So yeah, but yeah, that's something that could definitely put marriage on the route to divorce, not giving your spouse time. I feel like I've seen this conversation also a lot on the internet lately, where people talk about how their kids come first and their spouse. Some is like, there's one group who thinks that the kids should always come first and their spouse, and then there's a group that thinks the spouse come first than the kids.
I think we spoke about that on another episode.
Yeah, I think we did briefly. And for us,
we come first.
We come first because we're Catholic, and if we go by the rules of God, your spouse comes first. It's not that, and I completely, I've even heard psychologists talk about this in the past. It makes total sense. I know it sounds ridiculous to some people, like, what? Like, your spouse comes first? Like, how can you say that? Your kids will always be your kids, and your spouse can get up and leave. But here's the thing. A healthy family dynamic has two parents. And so in order for your kids, they feed off the relationship you have with your partner. And so if you have an unhealthy relationship with your spouse, your kids are affected by it, whether you want to accept it or not.
It's funny because even like our kids, I mean, we don't argue rarely. No. So like if we're ever having like a conversation and like our voice is a little loud, like a little loud, like
not that we're screaming each other, because we never do.
Yeah, like Dino be like, why are you guys fighting? Or
and we're like, we're not fighting. Like if we're having a discussion about like something, a debate about something, right? And they feel like we have different points, and we're like, no. Like, listen, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. Zena all of a sudden comes like, why are you guys fighting? Like, she doesn't like that. And, we have to explain to her, like, we're not fighting. We're just having a debate here. Like, this is what people do. Like, you're not always going to agree with the other person. And that's part of a healthy family dynamic. This is what your kids are supposed to see. They're not supposed to see you, killing each other and fighting over dumb things. But they're supposed to see that it's okay. You're going to get mad with your spouse. You're going to have disagreements. You're going to have small little arguments. And it's important for them to see that it's fine, because then they're going to talk about how they feel, and then they're going to get through it, and they're going to move past it. Yeah. That's part of a healthy family dynamic for your children to see. So this is why, for us, your spouse comes first. If you feel that you can't put your spouse first, there might be something deeper going on.
And it's not even like your kids will, like, it's not like you saying, like, hey.
It's not like you're neglecting them.
Yeah, like, of course, like, anything goes down, like, your kids, like, you are their protector. But when it comes to, like, an emotional and, like, connection, like, it comes from, like, the top. And then that's how you're able to handle your kids.
We are a team.
Yeah.
My husband and I are a team. Our kids need to understand that we, as a team, we're above, and we're going to make the rules, the decisions that need to happen in the home. And everything we do, we're going to do for their good. That is...
Armani would get writing down.
You're taking notes?
That's our son taking... He said he's taking notes in the background.
Like, everything we do for their good. Yeah. So it's not like... I don't know. Some people, I don't know what they think when you say that. Yeah. It's not like, I don't know, one of my kids is sick and my husband wants to have a good time, and my husband says, oh, no, babe, I want to spend time with you. Forget about Armani. He's sick. You don't have to take care of him. I come first. It's not like that. Yeah. Because if you have a spouse who cares for your family and cares for your children as much as you do, he, as an adult, as someone with a brain, is going to think, we need to take care of Armani right now. He is priority right now. He's not feeling good. Whatever we feel at this moment isn't important, is not priority. He needs to be taken care of. Like,
Yeah, I think some people just don't understand
they
that.
just think of the extremes. And your kids will always be your kids. You will always be their parents. You should always be there for them. But when you have a healthy marriage and you put your spouse first, everything just flows.
Everything falls into place.
Everything falls into place. And you also have to understand, parents, that your kids are not for you forever.
Yeah.
They will be your kids forever, but they won't be with you forever. They're going to grow up. They're going to have their own family. They're going to want to fly, out of the nest and form their own family. And so this is why sometimes you have these suegras que son insoportables, that you can't
In-laws.
handle them.
Yeah.
These mothers-in-law, some of them, because their whole life revolved around their kids, and they can't do anything without their kids.
Yeah.
And that's unhealthy. That's unhealthy.
And the thing is, like, if you're married to the same person, imagine neglecting your partner for 18 years. Let's say that your kid leaves the house at 18. Like, imagine, like, your whole entire life, you was like, my kid comes first. I don't care what you want. Like, my kid's first, and then you. It's like, what do you think is going to happen after those 18 years? Like, he's probably going to fall out of love with you because there is no connection there. Like, you spend all that time just giving it to your kid, and your kid now is going away, and now you come back home, and your home is, like, dry, and there's no intimacy or
connection
affection
with your partner. You lost connection through all those years. It's devastating. And at this point, people could be looking at divorcing each other when their kids already leave the home because they lost their spark.
Yeah. And that's why, I mean, even if we talk about like infidelity, it's like, that's why a lot of men or women end up just leaving or finding somebody else. Cause it's like, damn, you spent 18 years not paying attention to me.
Yeah.
Like I was just, let's say the guy that went to work and come, if you was a stay-at-home mom, like I went out to work and came back and it was like never nothing going on. It was just like all about my kid. I'm like, bro, we're married. Like, hi. Can you say hi to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another point I will say is affection between like, I don't know if everybody should be affectionate or is
think
there
there's
love
levels.
language?
Yeah. It depends on people's love languages.
Yeah, but a little.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a little bit of, in order to be intimate, you have to have affection. So, but I know that there's levels to how much affection you need. There's people who need affection a lot, like throughout the day. They just want affection all day, every day. And then there's people who are okay with just, kiss in the morning, kiss at night, just talking throughout the day. No, I think I have my moments. Like, I don't need to be affectionate all day long, but I do have my moments where I'm like,
hi,
babe, and I want to hug. And I tell you sometimes, I'm like, I want to hug. Just hug me, but I don't need it all day. It's not.
I need her love all day.
Randomly, too. I'm like, what is going on here?
It's my boo. Always
but
be
yeah.
my boo.
And of course, infidelity. That's like number one that could put your marriage like on the verge of getting a divorce, because who wants to be with someone who doesn't appreciate them fully and, isn't in it 100%? That's number one, not being loyal. And again, that can happen because of all the reasons we just talked about, but I always say, if you're in a marriage, please make sure that you're making the other person aware of the things that are bothering you, because sometimes people think that we should just read their mind and know that things are wrong. And what may seem really wrong to you, the other person might be looking at it and not thinking there's anything wrong. Yeah. So unless you've communicated with the other person that something is bothering you, that maybe you're not getting enough, affection, attention, time, don't expect them to just know it. Just speak about it. Have that communication. How many times do we say this? Yeah. Like, that is like key. Like, let them know how you're feeling before you do something dumb. Because sometimes there's the things that are bothering us that leads us to being unfaithful are simple things sometimes that can be resolved very easily if you're just open about it. Yeah. And if you're open about it and the other person isn't willing to change, then, you know, then that's a different story. And, you know, maybe
that's just not meant to be.
Yeah, maybe therapy, you know, could be something you look into. But if that doesn't help, then, you know, it's probably time to say goodbye and move on. But always speak about it before you do something like that, because nobody deserves to be cheated on without even knowing that there's something wrong. Yeah. Finances is something else that can put a marriage on the verge towards divorce, because money problems, you gotta resolve that. That's something that I believe is the number one cause for divorce. Money problems.
Is it money problem like not enough, or just that people don't know about their finances? Both.
People lie about their finances. People do incredibly irresponsible financial decisions without the other person knowing, making the family be in debt without the other person's consent. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're in a marriage, your finances, you can have 2 different bank accounts if you want, but you need to be open about your finances, because now your debt is going to affect everyone. Yeah. So, you know, people, I personally think that's somewhat of a betrayal when it comes to being in a relationship. I
think it is called that, like financial infidelity or something like that.
Yeah, because you're not being open about, you know, let's say maybe you have a money spending problem, and you're just swiping. The other person's unaware. Next thing you know, you're in a big hole. Yeah. And if the other person loves you and you guys are married, they're not going to leave you alone in the mess. Like, now this is their problem as well. And so it's something that really needs to be spoken about and cannot just be, you know, pushed under the rug. Like, you guys need to be open about how we're doing financially, where we're headed, what are the goals. Let's put it down on paper if we have to, but no fishy or hidden things should be happening when it comes to finances. That's something that could definitely put marriage on the road towards divorce.
Because then down the line, it's just stressful. When you just find out or know, we're like, oh, this person owes $300,000, and they're like, of what?
Right. What have you been spending on? Yeah. And there's people who have problems mentally, on a mental level, and this is how they release stress. Yeah. They're called
shopaholics.
Shopaholics.
Oh, okay.
They're shopaholics. And this is something that like, if you care for your family, even if you like to shop a lot, you have to think about how this is going to affect everyone. Yeah. I know, like, for me, I love to shop. I love to shop. But I feel guilty. Like, I can't, whereas in the past, I would not really think about it too much. Now I think about it. I'm like, should I really be buying this? I don't think so. Are we in a place? Like, I think about it, you know, a lot. And I'm like, babe, you know, I want to buy this. And, you know, I bring it up to him. And it's not because he tells me that I need to consult him to buy anything. Yeah. It's just that I feel like, I know he's the one who's a little bit more calmer when it comes to spending. And he has more of like the idea of where we're at financially all the time. So even though I'm in the loop, I tend to be a little bit more like away from that, you know, like from that information, just for my sanity. So that's why I feel like, you know, sometimes I put it on the table to him. Like, I want to get this, you know, it costs this much. And, you know, like, depending on the vibe I get from him, I'm like, okay, maybe I should wait a little bit.
I mean, but sometimes I'll tell you, just get it. And sometimes I'll be like, is it really worth it?
Yeah. But again, it's not because he tells me you can't be buying anything without my permission. Like, that's not how it works. It's just that I know that what I do with our money is going to affect everyone. And I can't be that selfish.
I'm the same way with you too sometimes. Like I'll be, because I'm not really a shopper. I don't really shop for myself at all.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like buying something for the business. And I'll be like, yeah, I really want to get this. And you'll be like, why? And I'm like, this. And you'll be like, oh, fuck it.
But then sometimes,
which is not good because she's a shopaholic, so she's just like buy it.
Yeah, but sometimes, like let's say for example, you're not a shopper when it comes to, let's say, clothes for yourself. And I feel like you go a little overboard sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Like, you need a pair of pants. Like, just get the damn pair of pants. You need them. And you know, you'll hear him complaining like throughout the week, like, damn, I only have these pants. Oh my God, these pants that I really like broke, you know, and I don't know, I don't want to spend money on like clothes right now. And then you hear him like, oh my God, this store that I really like has a sale. They have like a 50% sale off.
That shit is not on sale. I'm not buying.
And I'm like, oh my God, so what is it? What is it that you want to get from there? He goes, I got this, and this in the cart, but it's this much, and I don't really want to spend that much. I'm like, listen, just get it because I know you need it. And he doesn't do this all the time. So, you know, I'm here for you. I'm here for you to make a good purchase. I'm here to help you out, you know. You can't be looking homeless on me, okay?
Gotcha.
Because when I met you, you were a papi chulo, okay?
Yeah. I'm slacking.
What?
Zena's face is like, what?
Zena was like, what did you just say? Anyways, I think that we've pointed out some good points.
There's many more, of course, but these are
many scenarios that can put you on the verge of divorce. If you can think of one that we didn't mention, leave it down in the comments. We would love to know what's on your mind.
Maybe we do a part 2.
If you want us to do a part 2, leave us a comment down below and let us know. And that's it for today's podcast, you guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. If you're here on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell so you can be notified every time we post a video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. And for those of you listening on our audio platforms, don't forget to leave us your reviews. It really helps us out. That's it for today's podcast, you guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Until next time.
Peace.